And Calzaghe is already drawing the crowds as the build-up to the big fight begins. Well, some big sporting events coming up next month. Cardiff City's FA Cup semi-final and Joe Calzaghe's light heavyweight title fight with Bernard Hopkins in Las Vegas, of course.
Yes, one match that should be. Well, the Calzaghe team flies out to Vegas at the end of next week to acclimatise. And today, Joe had his final public workout. Our sports correspondent Richard Morgan was there.
He's boxed in front of a few big crowds, but Joe Calzaghe doesn't often train in front of numbers like this. A huge interest in his next fight, and why not? It's Joe's first in America, his first at light heavyweight, and it's against an American ring hero with a record to rival his own. It's been a difficult time for the Calzaghe gym lately, with defeats for Enzo Macronelli and Gavin Rees. Now everyone's looking towards its biggest star, Joe, to restore the pride when he takes on Bernard Hopkins in Las Vegas next month. Former middleweight champion Hopkins certainly with lots to say for himself in the build-up, both in Vegas, where the two met for the first time in December, and ever since. But in Joe's gym, talk is cheap. Here it's all about sweat and hard yards and getting the champ into the shape of his life. Had any chats with Bernard lately? He was full of talk the last time you met.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't really listen to him. He's just babbling on about whatever he's talking about. I can't understand him half the time. But he can talk all he wants. At the end of the day, you know, come 19th of April, I'm going to do the talking with my fists.
He's not impressed you then, is he?
Not impressed at all. I mean, end day, let me tell you what I think we could. People bark, dogs that bark, don't bite. Italians say, oh, smoke and no roast. That's basically what he is. We're just concerned with one thing. Hopkins or Mary Hopkins, you want to call him, whatever it is, doesn't matter to us one bit. All it is, when that bell goes, that's the important thing to us.
Talking aside, Hopkins does have a fearsome record, once going unbeaten for 12 years. But despite the recent stumbles for others in the Calzaghe stable, there aren't many here predicting a first pro defeat for their favourite son.
Don't get me wrong, Hopkins is a great champion. He's always been a great champion, and you know, people saying he's all getting on a bit, but he's not as far gone as people think he is. I think he's top of the tree. But in Joe, I don't think you've ever faced someone who can throw so many punches and is not afraid of him.
So now to Vegas, whose name will be up in lights on April the 19th. Richard Morgan, Wales Tonight.
And we talked to Calzaghe before Vegas and that big fight we've all been waiting for. And it's the one he's been waiting for today. Joe Calzaghe put on a show for the cameras at his gym near Newbridge before he leaves for the US to fight Bernard Hopkins. It's a mouth-watering bout taking place in Las Vegas next month. Calzaghe stepping up to light heavyweight and fighting in America for the first time.
Joe Calzaghe put through his paces just weeks before his biggest fight. After more than a decade at the top, he's still unbeaten, but now he's preparing for his toughest test, a keenly anticipated battle with Bernard Hopkins, regarded as one of the best middleweight fighters of all time. Last time round, Joe Calzaghe dispatched Michael Kester. This time, a different challenge, and Calzaghe's first fight stateside. He flies into the bright lights of Vegas next week, and he can expect up to 8,000 fans to travel to watch him. He says there's no more he can achieve at middleweight, so he's moving up a weight for the biggest payday of his career.
After beating Kessler, I had to sit down and think, well, what else have I got to achieve? What else is to do if I went and fought in America? And that's just the icing on the cake, to go out there, to fight in Vegas against the top guy, and to beat him in his own patch. That's everything, man. It's king of the castle.
But for all the talk, Calzaghe knows it'll count for nothing come fight night. And with the bout televised prime time across the US, Calzaghe could hardly have wished for a bigger stage to show the world what he can do.
Now, British boxer Joe Calzaghe's been squaring up to his father and trainer Enzo ahead of that massive fight with Bernard Hopkins live on Setanta. Well, the Italian Dragon held an open training session at Enzo's gym in South Wales before his light heavyweight showdown in Las Vegas on April the 19th. The undisputed super middleweight champion Calzaghe is unbeaten in 44 professional fights, a record which Joe says speaks for itself.
At the end of the day, I look at his record, and I believe my record is better when it comes to fighting somebody your own weight. He was champion for 10 years. He defended his title 20 times. I was champion for over 10 years and defended my super middleweight championship 21 times. if you look at his opponents, the best opponents he beat have been welterweights. You know, De La Hoya is a great fighter, but a welterweight who stepped up to middleweight. Trinidad, also a small guy, a welterweight. And Antonio Tarver, forget about Tarver. Tarver just came off the Rocky film and must have lost about 4 stone, was useless when he boxed him. So hey, at the end of the day, I don't care about names or reputations. He's fighting a guy who's hungry, he's fighting somebody his own size for a change. And like I said, you know, I can't wait to get over there and show the Americans what I'm all about.
Don't forget, you can see that huge fight live on Setanta Sports Saturday, April the 19th, the date for your diary. Out below, Joe Calzaghe warms up for his Vegas super fight with Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins wouldn't face him on Welsh soil. The light heavyweight showdown is now to be held in Las Vegas. Of course, it will be live on Setanta, April the 19th, and the undisputed super middleweight world champion Calzaghe said that he's just pleased about it taking place.
Well, the main reason is he doesn't want to come over here. So Hopkins is a fight I've been after for years and years. You know, we tried to make this fight going back 6 years ago, and he backed out on it. There's no way he'd come to Wales, no way he'd come to England. He said, you know, the only way he would fight me if I go to America and if I fight at light heavyweight. So, hey, here I am. I'm going out there. I'm going to fight at his weight, wherever he wants to fight. I'm going to turn up and I'm going to win. But to be honest, you know, to fight over there and to have thousands of British come over and support me I'm extremely proud. You know, to be at this stage of my career. I went over to watch, you know, obviously Ricky Hatton fight against Mayweather, and the support he got was absolutely incredible. You never get that anywhere else in the world, you know, except for the British fans. So I'm more than sort of eager to really sort of make sure they come over and they all leave happy, and not just win, but hopefully make an exciting fight. I know Bernard Hopkins is a sort of fighter who spoils, who can be in an ugly fight. But at the end of the day, I'm going to try and make this, if I can, an exciting fight. Yeah, to be honest, I think maybe a few years ago, this situation probably might have got to me a bit. But as I've got older, you get more mature and you get more chilled out. And listen, I'm just 36, man. I'm really relaxed. I'm getting old. So at the end of the day, there's a lot to ruffle me up. And nothing scares me anymore. Nothing worries me. So, you know, I've got the adrenaline pumping where I want to win. The fear of losing is enough to motivate me. And I love being a world champion. I love being undefeated. So that's enough to motivate me, but nothing Hopkins can say, you know, or anything intimidates me whatsoever, because I believe 100% in my heart and soul that I am a better fighter than Hopkins, and I'm going to prove it.
Boxer Joe Calzaghe has been squaring up to his father and trainer today ahead of a massive fight with Bernard Hopkins, which you can of course see live on Setanta.
Well, the Welsh warrior held an open training session at Enzo's gym in South Wales before his light heavyweight showdown in Las Vegas on April the 19th. This is Calzaghe's first fight at light heavyweight, and the Welshman said he's ready for the American.
Preparations have been going excellently, you know. I'm excited about going to America and fighting Bernard Hopkins. It's a new challenge for me, and like I said, after the Mikel Kessler fight, you know, I'm only going to fight unless I've got a big challenge. And the big challenge is me going outside my comfort zone, going to the States, fighting, you know, a big name like Bernard Hopkins and his own patch, and at a new weight. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm buzzing.